Well, good morning, everyone. Roy here. A while back, I was watching a YouTube video on Queen Elizabeth's favorite foods. And what she usually liked on Sunday morning was toast with Scottish smoked salmon, and on top of that, light, fluffy scrambled eggs. So I thought, wow, well, that sounds great. Let's try it. Especially since I've had a really challenging time making fluffy scrambled eggs. So I studied and studied, watched 100 other videos about how to make fluffy scrambled eggs, and I think I've got it. So why don't you join me and we'll see. Let's go. So, in honor of Queen Elizabeth and her love of Scottish salmon, we're going to have President's Choice double smoked, peat smoked Scottish Atlantic salmon. Must admit, I've never had this before, so it's a bit of an experiment, but it looks good. So here we are. This is our Scottish salmon, peat smoked. And I tried a little bit, and it actually tastes wonderful. It tastes really, it's bizarre. It tastes a little light, but with deep smoky flavor as well. And with that, instead of toast, as Queen Elizabeth has, or had, I'm going to use a sesame bagel from Kettleman's. And if you're in the Toronto area, hopefully you know Kettleman's. They make absolutely wonderful, wonderful bagels. And along with that, we need to have Kettleman's cream cheese. I'm going to go with the light cream cheese because I like it. And because we're going to go with eggs and smoked salmon and cheese, so that's a little bit of weight there. So the first things first, we're going to add some butter. And I'm going to go with about 1.5 tablespoons of butter. I think that's enough for 3 eggs. This is good, organic, grass-fed butter. And if you've never had grass-fed butter, I highly recommend it. It's makes for such an absolutely incredible taste. So go for it. So we're going to put this on medium. We'll give it a few minutes to start working its way down, and in the meantime, we'll crack open some eggs. So, actually, before we do everything, we'll prepare this because we'll be needing to focus completely on the eggs once they get into the pan, so I don't want anything to distract me. Look at how fluffy these cream cheese is. And by the way, none of these stores or what have you are paying me for placements or anything. It's just I really like their products. Here we go. So let's get the salmon on next. This delicious. Yeah, just enough. There we go. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. Okay, let me clean this up and we'll get over to the eggs. Back to the stove. Got the butter melting nicely. We've cracked some eggs on a flat surface, never on the edge. Want to stir them, mix them. We don't want them totally blended. We want a bit of a mix between the egg yolk and the egg white. there's also a big argument about salt. Some folks insist putting salt in first, but about 15 minutes before you cook to get the salt the time to dissolve. And others insist on putting the salt later. And they both have very good reasons for their position. So what do? I don't use salt at all. Okay, so the butter has melted, and now we're using the small burner, or the single burner. And on medium-low heat, and we're going to start stirring. And this is the key. This is the key. For so many years, I put medium-high heat, and it just cooked way too quickly. So you want a nice low heat, which it is with a single burner like this, and you want to constantly stir, like with risotto. Now also, why butter, you ask? I'm sure you're asking, right? I used to use olive oil, but I saw one show, and they made a really good argument for butter. Well, two arguments actually. The first was that butter has more flavor, which is correct, right? More cholesterol, but it does have more flavor. But the more important thing is that butter contains water, and water will, when it's put on the heat, will, as you well know, turn to steam. So that steam in the eggs makes it fluffier and more bubbly. More bubbly? That's a technical term. So I can feel the eggs slowly starting to harden a wee bit. So that's good. The other key is making sure you take it off at the right time, obviously. Don't wait too long, otherwise it'll dry out. Okay, I'm going to let this rest. I'm going to move my plating stuff over. There we go. Look at this. They're ready to go. And as you can see, now Gordon Ramsay, as you can see, it's starting to move. So now we need to be careful that it doesn't stick to the pan, especially in the middle, where most pans, no matter how good they are, eventually develop a high spot. And this certainly isn't the world's most expensive pan. Anyways, Gordon Ramsay, I was about to say, he cooks his scrambled eggs in a saucepan, which is, a high-sided pan with a handle, a long handle. And I think he does it, I have no idea because I don't know him, we don't go in the same circles, but I think he does it because the pans have a nice flat spot. They're nice and flat, they don't have these high spots in the middle. But he cooks his on medium-high heat. But what he does is he's constantly taking the pot off of the heat so it doesn't overcook, stirring aggressively. So in effect, even though he's got it on medium-high, he's still really cooking it on a relatively low heat. Plus I think he's used to the restaurant business where time is money. Whereas I'm simply a Sunday chef. See, it's starting to come together nicely now. I sound like that painter on the PBS shows, the one with the beard. I can't forget his name. He used to paint with the calming voice. Now we're going to put the background in. Very popular fellow. See, it's coming now nicely. Here's where we need to be careful that we don't overcook. Now you might ask, so this method is I would say the British method, where we don't add anything. The French will add cream or milk, or in some cases sour cream, and it makes it much creamier, watery, and what have you. It's also delicious. It's up to you. It's totally your preference. I've had it both ways, and I can't make up my mind which I like better. And then there's the Australian way. And what they do is they just tilt the pan, and when it's just starting out, they'll keep the cooked to one side, tilt the pan, let it run over here, it'll stream, it'll solidify on this side, they'll tilt it this way. So basically they're keeping the cooked on one half and the uncooked on the other half, the runny, the liquid, and setting it up that way. If that makes any sort of sense to you at all. Getting there. And trust me, you may be saying, Roy, look how long this is taking. Trust me, when it's done, you will be in heaven. What is it about these non-stick pans that are non-stick for about 3 times, and then they're not? I'm just whining here. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there. Now here's the key. I'm going to turn off the heat. And we're ready. So it may look that's not quite, but it's hot and it's going to continue cooking for just another half minute once you remove it from the pan, so don't worry about it. There we go. Now to put on, you may have noticed that while you weren't looking, I snuck some tomato slices on, just to add some flavor. And there, my friends, you have it. I'm hungry. This looks delicious. Ready to dig in. We'll see you next time. Cheers. And this is Anna frying her egg in butter gently on medium-low heat. Looks great. And this is Anna's version. So now she's got cream cheese, her cream cheese on some sort of small naan, and then on top is going to go parsley, and then we have the egg, and of course the smoked salmon. And here we go with the smoked salmon. Oh, looks good. Parsley from our herb garden. Finally we have the egg. And there you have 2 versions of Queen Elizabeth's favorite Sunday brunch. I think she may be either delighted or offended, I'm not sure which. But regardless, we think they're fantastic, they tasted great, and we hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.